Hey folks, it's Archer's Paradox. Good Sunday morning to you all. This morning I'm going to introduce you to the Ultimate Night Vision system. This is the ultimate solution if you want to record your thermal night hunt, specifically the thermal gun sight video footage. I will be going through the setup of the MDVR, and then we will discuss at length the cables and termination points. Now the MDVR system, which comes from Ultimate Night Vision, it is a kit form. It comes with the MDVR, a nice case, and then also a remote on-off switch. There are many mounting options as far as trying to mount this to your rifle. I have a Magpul PRS stock, and I decided initially I had mounted the remote on-off switch on the quad rail, and then I had moved it over to the receiver. And after my experience of thermal night hunting for hogs, I decided to keep everything as close as possible to minimize any exposure of the cabling. So let's go ahead and look at the actual setup. This is the 90 degree connector for the remote on-off switch. We'll go ahead and take the mini DVR out of its case. As you can see, this has a mil-spec Velcro, which is rated for over 20 pounds of release force. Okay, let's go ahead and look at some of the controls. From left to right, you have the DC 5 volt input. That's to charge the lithium ion battery. There's a included 120 to 5 volt transformer to charge it. You have a USB port. You have the AV out. That AV out is actually the termination for your on-off remote switch. You have a reset LED, and then you have a lock. On this side of the unit, you have the on-off switch on the left. You have to hold that. It's a momentary switch. You hold that on for 2 seconds and it will come on. You have the AV in, which is your termination point from your thermal scope. You have the stop and record switch. Then these are your controls. You have M for menu, ESC for escape. This is actually your selection. This is your up and down or left and right to toggle through the menus. And of course you have your SD card. So we'll go ahead and turn the unit on. So you just hold that on-off switch for 2 seconds. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and go through some of the screens. On the left side, there's an icon for a little camcorder. So I'll go ahead and we'll hit select. First thing you want to do is look at your mode. Obviously you want video mode set up, so you hit escape. Motion detection off. This unit is capable of connecting up to a motion detector. We're going to leave that off. Sensitivity. You want high sensitivity. Resolution. I chose 720 by 480 because the signal I will be using is NTSC, which is typical of the United States. Hit escape. Video quality. You want high video quality. Timestamp. I'm leaving that on to record my night hunts. File length, 60 minutes. Frame rate, I chose 30 frames per second. Audio record volume. For night hunts, it's recommended you keep this level at the number 5. Microphone select, you want the internal mic, unless you have an external mic capability. Overwrite, I left that off. So let's go ahead and escape. Let's go to the tools. Language, obviously it's going to be English unless you're have simple Chinese or traditional Chinese. Date time, you want to set that up. Go ahead and set your date, etc. Password protection if you're inclined. Video output. We want NTSC. TV connect, no. Power save. Right now it's power off. Vibe alert. I turn this off. You can leave it on. The vibe alert functions as if you're starting to have a low battery, it will vibrate. The beep, this is very important. When you get the unit from the factory, this beep will be on. You obviously want to turn this off if you're doing any night hunting. Format, this is important. As soon as you put your SD card in the slot, it will format it. There's a firmware update. Right now we'll just hit no. SD card info, and then default setup and version, etc. Hit escape. So that's essentially the setup on the MDVR. I'm going to show you the feature which sold me on the Ultimate Night Vision system, is this on-off switch. My experience with other micro or mini DVRs when doing the thermal hunting is getting your unit powered up quickly, and more importantly, without any detection from your game animal. This is the ultimate solution. One thing I have to caution you, do not, and I repeat, do not plug the 90-degree connector into the AV out if your remote on-off switch is in the 1 position. I went ahead and I took a silver Sharpie and I just marked 0 for off and 1 for on. The manual strongly cautions you not to connect it with the switch in the I or 1 position. So we'll go ahead and it's about a 6 to 7 second boot up. And one thing nice, as soon as you switch that on, the unit starts recording. This is tremendous. Go ahead and switch it off, and it automatically saves your recorded footage. With all mini and micro DVRs I've seen on the market, this is the typical cable solution. This is a 3.5mm end. This is the old school RCA banana type plug. I tell you what, you talk about flimsy and unreliable. I've seen it out in the field. I've had issues with this connector coming loose, the male plug into the female receptacle on other mini DVRs. This is what separates Ultimate Night Vision from the rest of the competition. This is their cable they provide. This is for a FLIR RS series thermal scope. This is a armored braided cable, mil spec. This is a 3.5mm end. This is the USB connection port for a FLIR RS series scope. You can see it's heat shrunk tubing for rigidity and robustness. The termination point is the AVN right there. As you can see, that is a very, very rigid termination. Very impressive, very robust. That will not come out. And as soon as I get my FLIR scope, there's your termination on top of the FLIR scope. This is a 14-inch lead, so it's critical that you mount your MDVR. You want to minimize how much slack you have left. Ultimate Night Vision also caters to the other thermal scope manufacturers. This is for an ATN Thor 8-pin. So that's a 3.5mm connection to the MDVR. This is your 8-pin to the Thor. This is an ATN Thor for the MCX. Once again, uses the armored braided cable with the heat shrink tubing. This next cable is a 3.5mm male plug video cable for Photon for the DFA 75. Essentially a straight and a 90. Then we have a right angle RCA male video cable for the Pulsar Digital N550 and the N750. Alright folks, well, this Archer's Paradox, let me tell you, I have ultimate extreme confidence in the Ultimate Night Vision solution. These guys know what they're doing. If you have a thermal scope that I did not talk about as far as a cable termination, give them a call. The gentleman's name is Tyler. Very personable. I tell you what, these guys know what they're doing. Absolutely. Hope you enjoyed the video. All my upcoming coyote and hog hunts, I will be using the Ultimate Night Vision MDVR. This Archer's Paradox signing off.